Recording in progress.
Oh, fine. Well, time is now 7:02, Wednesday, October 11th, and I call the Transportation Safety Committee meeting to order. My name is Justin McCollum, I am the chair, and we're just going to do a roll call. Justin McCollum, chair present, Rand Hoyland. Present. Tom Ryder. Absent. John McGrath. Here. Rebecca Tarantino.
Here.
Donna Mullen.
Here.
Barry McNeely. Here. Gus Grierson is excused, absent. And we have Tyler Gabrowski, our committee support, just for the tape, and we have Bob Wilson, our technical advisor, is joining us via Zoom. Is that true, Bob?
He's here on.
All right, perfect. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is, since we did have somebody that wanted to kind of move ahead on the agenda, but that individual's not here, so we're just going to go in the order that we have. So we're going to approve the minutes from September 13th. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes? Yes. Any issues, concerns, adds, subtractions? No, I will entertain a motion to accept, and if there's no additions or any comments. Entertaining a motion.
I move to accept.
Lieutenant McGrath moves to accept the minutes. Second.
Second.
Second by Donna, and all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Who is that?
It's Bob.
Hey, Bob?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Oh, perfect. Did you have any minutes?
Well, I'm sorry, I missed some of that. What was that?
We just were doing a motion to accept the minutes, but I wanted to make sure.
Yes, it's good. Yay.
So all in favor, say aye. Any abstentions?
Yes.
One abstention?
Sure.
Based on absences. So the motion carries. Minutes are accepted. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our old business. We wanted to kind of, discuss with regards. Did you want to bring us through the status report, Bob? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. Oh, you could see me. Hey, I'm on the big screen. Okay. A couple things that I would like to mention first off here. Regarding the Bond Street and Falcon Street intersection review and study, we were having in engineering a little trouble with staffing lately. We've had people out for a variety of different reasons, and it usually helps to have a couple extra people out in the field to observe the various ongoing ingoings of what's going on out there on that intersection. So I have not yet completed that part of the study yet. For Bond and Falcon and Washington and Bond and Bancroft there, that area.
Yes.
Okay. Regarding High Rock Street and Oak Street, those two traffic studies, pre-lane narrowing, have been completed.
Okay.
And Ryan might have a little more to add in a minute, but as far as the speeds on High Rock Street, they were 34 miles per hour. On Oak Street, they were between 25 and 29 miles per hour.
This is pre-striping?
Pre-narrowing, yes. I would like to just ask Ryan quick. Did you narrow the lanes on Oak Street as of yet?
Yes.
They are narrow? Okay. So I can continue on with the next phase of the counting then. Or the study. Next phase of the study.
Where were Bob? Where were the tubes placed on Oak? Just for curiosity.
Near Maple Street, between Maple and Linden.
Okay.
And where, between Maple and Linden? The only issue with that spot is that a lot of people think Maple's a stop. So I think people slow as they're approaching Maple. You know what I mean? I'm not sure it's the best gauge because they slow when they're, depending on which direction, they've either just slowed after Linden and, because they've come to a stop at Linden and then they're just picking up, or they're slowing at Maple. So
I tried to pick one in the middle, but I guess, yeah, maybe I can make the next one further back.
Yeah, keep it the same.
Keep it the same, and we'll take any percentages off based on on that location.
Okay.
For High Rock, do you know where you took the tubes for High Rock?
High Rock was up near, Birchwood, I think. And, near Linden Street as well, not too far from Linden, up on the hill.
But that's where there's new striping, right?
Yes,
There's the thing on High Rock that's sort of interesting is the striping. The new and the old aren't exactly aligned. So where this new road was paved,
hmm
it, the
yes,
lines are consistent where there's consistency in the striping. I mean, now it should be wherever you did it the last time, but
right.
that was, let's talk about
Okay.
it anyway.
Yeah, and we can have
Yeah.
a conversation about striping after this, but yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, sorry, continue, go ahead, Bob.
Okay, and a couple of things, I'm not sure if you got them with my package. I sent some preliminary sketches of Kearney and Gould intersection. I'm not sure if you people received them. I tried to send them with the status update package.
Yep, I did get them.
Okay, and that's preliminary, but with a little bit of design involved. They did, our surveyors from the engineering division did take a look at the actual field conditions. And I came up with a little bit of striping, and then I think we should add a stop sign there as well. I don't see a major problem.
Are you doing a stop sign just across the street, or are you doing a stop sign at the right-hand side?
I was, again, looking, I put it across the street because I wasn't sure exactly in the beginning, when I first did the preliminary study, where the, if we'd have enough closeness to the road to put the stop sign on that side. But I think there's enough if we want to put it there.
And I will leave this up to you, but I just know that, I know the MUTCD has some restrictions on where exactly, because that's a secondary spot, it's across the street.
Right,
Primary-
yeah, I understand, yeah.
All's in alignment with that, that's fine, I'm just, I want to make sure that if we do have, the signs are in the right place, if we do have people violate that. Yeah, and have you spoken to, no, the daycare last month, the daycare, I think, got back to the original petitioner and was fine, and was doing some tree hedging as well. Perfect, I do
Yeah,
have this
oh yeah,
design.
there's my picture, yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe I guess I could put it on that side too. I just wanted to make sure, yeah. I guess I should put it closer. I mean, near the stop bar on that side.
Legal, you know what I mean, because especially if it's just not, if
Yeah.
it's across the street, one could probably go to court and get it thrown out.
Yeah.
Like we have at the end of Mark Tree in Central.
Yeah, I think there's one, well, there's one at the end of West Street too at Central, but yeah.
So, okay, yeah, no, this is a good design. Any comments from anybody?
Good.
Anything else, Bob?
I believe, and again, this is another sketchy item. I'm not sure if you people received the Country Way preliminary sketches with that one as well. I'm not sure if you got those.
Yeah, here they are. They're showing up.
They are there? Okay. Okay. Yeah, and those are preliminary. I had about 5 of them. That's kind of the one we kind of went with to start. It's in paint already. We looked at that and we've talked about it. The next couple are a little bit more imaginative, I guess. And a little more involved with the island, and then switching the intersection around a little bit and adding a little speed hump where the to slow the traffic coming from the other arm of Country Way.
Was this going back to the neighborhood? Because I thought my understanding was they were not.
These are in here for now. For now, they're preliminary.
Okay. This is just for information. We're not making a decision and putting a speed bump on.
Right. The committee asked for a little bit of a different variety of what to do there. I'm just kind of showing.
Like any of these ideas better or worse? What in your opinion? And also,
I like the island, I think, better, but I mean, you know, that's personal. I think
Yeah.
Tom Ryder kind of went with the island too. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I like the island, but I think the feedback from the neighborhood would be the bottom sketch.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, the bump out from the driveway.
This is the bump out, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bump out, so the driveway terminates, instead of currently here, it terminated here.
The speed, the
And
feedback
then-
on the speed is coming down off the country. People liked being able to flow to the right.
Yeah, they prefer to go this way.
Yeah.
That's kind of the predominant flow, so really, this is a change in traffic configuration, leaving the stop sign here, so this goes, and then when they come back, they stop here, but this is actually
Where's Central here?
down over here.
So Central's here coming.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's changing the configuration
changing
of
the
this
configuration.
intersection.
Yeah, it's changing it. The changes around a little bit. Yeah, it's a little more involved.
Gotcha.
All right, no, well, obviously keep us updated on how that goes, and if you, you know, do engage with the neighborhood, let us know, and we can even, you know, kind of help to do so, you know, just so we all get in line to support around this.
Okay. And there's another quick thing, and this is kind of a follow-up to what I talked about the last meeting I was there regarding the Kendrick Street slip ramp, the little ramp thing. I think we talked about this last meeting a little bit, and I'm not sure, did I send you some of the information on that too? I'm not sure if I
We
did.
got 4 pages of, yeah, the slip ramp, plus it looks like some of the data from your,
Yeah. Right, the counts, yeah. I think you were, the committee was asking for the better data, the actual data, and I just figured I'd throw it in here as well with a little diagram.
anyone have comments or concerns with regards to this?
So we're leaving it though still, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
there was.
yeah, yeah, it's,
Yeah, agreed.
Because, you know, there's a handful of people who use it, and the issue that brought up to the committee was more of an operator issue.
Right.
As opposed to, you know, something that would be improved by any sort of geometric or markings.
Agreed.
yeah, they're pretty even, and I didn't think they'd be even, but they were pretty even.
Yeah, oh, it's good, and I like how the data kind of suggests something a little bit different. I thought too, I thought it was asymmetric, but, all right, great. Bob, I thank you. Is there anything else that you wanted to?
I think that is where, I think that's where I am.
Perfect. Anyone else? I know in some of our previous, and we can, after this, for the petitioners, we can talk about, you know, philosophy of markings, whatever, so, okay. Anything else? All right, in that case, so, we would go to, so Andrea is not here, Andrea Standberg, so, was Marilyn? or-
Yeah, Lila Hammerlin.
Okay, and so if you want to, we've all, the committee here is, as, you know, obviously has read ahead of time the packets, but you feel free to, kind of, show us around what your concerns are.
All right, I'm Lila Hammerling, also known as Lila Johnson. I live off of Nahoyden and right off of the Great Plain Ave. And this is Corey.
The road's still at 19 Washburn, right at this intersection as well.
And Lisa, his wife, actually also wrote a petition. So basically, this intersection, it's a little wonky. I have 3 small children. They all go to, well, a couple of them go to Noah's Ark preschool, so right in the church there. And then this is the post office side that I took the picture in. I mean, my house is literally 2 houses right on Nahoyden, so I cross this crosswalk every day. The yield sign, I have to say, barely works for us. Many of us actually that use this intersection a lot, and we have all had some sort of encounter where it has become very unsafe for us and the children. And this is Linden Street, so High Rock is there too, which I've noticed, you know, there's a very nice gentleman who is the crossing guard when it is a half day, which is nice, but I honestly think that these yield signs actually don't get noticed as much because this is right when town center ends. And this is when all of a sudden everyone wants to just zip right past and go faster. So they don't notice the yield sign. They also don't really notice us, especially when we're crossing into Linden, that we're standing there half the time, because there is that pole there, which I think does hinder a little bit of the view, but also it's just, they just want to go. And I have noticed, we did a little tour this morning, and on the other side, it's not as bad because they do have a speed limit sign right before the yield sign that goes to 25. This one's still 35 though, so people are just like ready to go. So we're petitioning that we either have like either the flashing lights type of yield sign. I've even thought maybe just even a stop sign, so people actually are forced to just really stop, because this also, even as a driver, you're, you know, if you're turning into Linden, there's a guy that may stop here and is trying to turn into Great Plain Ave, and sometimes that just causes a lot of confusion, and there have been accidents there too. I do know that someone told me after I almost got hit with my stroller, that an old lady actually came out of the post office and was like, someone got hit last week, you know, so it has happened. And we think that these signs just don't help for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to echo Lila's comments. You know, we've talked to our neighbors on Hoyden, Great Plain, and Washburn, and you know, these key words keep coming up: close call, near miss, scary. And these may sound like dramatic things, but personally, I've had this happen to me with my kids. This does have these two critical issues coming from the Washburn side to Linden. That pole is right in the way, and I can take a picture from that angle. So as a pedestrian, you actually have to step out into the street for a car to see you, because the pole is there, the curve is back some, and that's kind of, you know, absurd in a traffic safety scenario that you have to be in the street for a car to see you to stop. Coming from the other direction, Linden across Great Plain, you know, onto the Washburn side, you get a lot of vehicles that are stopped at Linden for a moment to turn, or excuse me, coming down Great Plain from Needham Center, about to turn onto Linden, and they stop there for a moment, but the person behind them doesn't know what they're stopping for. You know, maybe it's a pedestrian, maybe they're turning, and they try to go around them in the bike lane, the side lane. And this is where I see just a big issue for young kids, especially because, you know, they're lower to the ground. They can't be seen by that car that's trying to sneak past on the right, and get clipped, honestly. I talked to you know, with the gentleman who does the crosswalk for the school, and he says this intersection is kind of crazy. He doesn't have enough arms to stop all the drivers coming from the various directions turning, you know, when the kid is there. And even yesterday, he had one of these scenarios where somebody was coming from the right, going around a turning vehicle, and almost hit a kid. So I think something that does call attention, that people coming from Needham Center really are seeing the flashing light. They're knowing that something's happening at this intersection, somebody's crossing, even if they can't exactly see the pedestrian themselves.
I know that one of the petition also said, mentioned and said something about a light, because there is a street light above there, with that, on that pole. I know that was one thing I was kind of going through the earlier today. I mean, I'll certainly open this up to the committee members. Some of the things like stop sign, it's not possible,
Yeah.
because there's rules, or there's called warrants. There's a federal book that basically that says what you can and cannot do.
Right.
And this wouldn't even begin to qualify for
Yeah.
a stop sign. However, you know, there are, in my mind, there are shorter and longer term fixes. I know that the longer term fixes, my understanding, Rain, is that the phase 2 of the downtown improvement project goes to this intersection.
It does.
So the treatments of everything that they, so you know, that downtown was obviously improved to a certain radius. There is a phase 2 that's somewhere in the process of being planning, it's a consultant right now. But that is a one, like circle out, and that does start here. So the pedestrian and multimodal improvements that are put throughout the rest of the town will affect this intersection. That's gonna be the longer term.
Yeah.
Because that has to be funded. I mean, a lot of that's funded through different sources than us, but either way, there's a lot of, that's not a simple thing.
Mhm.
I think increased signage, I think, certainly some warning, some, and perhaps even, remember the signs that were put up, right after on, Webster, that was just basically the blinking ones, that all it did is just blink based on solar, just as a crossing blink, maybe kind of a short-term, alert, not, obviously our RFPs will be, those are the ones that would be somebody
Yeah.
actually, now, here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what percentage is that. One of the things I wanted to do is actually see if we have data on compliance of that, because the town paid a lot of money to have those put in, and the use of those is the actual people hitting the buttons, either kids with
Really?
peer pressure, don't want to do it, or whatever it is, you just see people going across, not actually
Yeah.
these things, and these things are like, $15,000 per
Yeah.
side, whatever, so just because you put one of the blinky lights in doesn't mean
Sure.
it actually is going to do anything, if someone's actually pressing.
Mm.
But I open this up now to committee members to opine or to comment or feedback.
I think this is a continuation of the issue we're having at Maple. Where it's still in that visual cue of a problem, like exactly what you're saying, is you're going from almost a 2-lane feel
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
1-lane
Yeah.
feel, and people are
Mhm.
staying and jockeying for position, just
Yes.
passing the hook.
Yeah.
People coming in and out. You now have to contend with the post office traffic. I personally do not like the location of this crosswalk.
Yeah.
If in the
it's
future,
terrible.
like,
You did.
is that a curb cut?
Yes.
Down,
Yes, that,
No, you're saying by
down
the church?
towards the church, is that a curb cut?
Yeah.
But there's no curb cut on the other side, I mean, I'd much rather see it there. I get you have to go past where you want to go.
Yeah.
But you're out of that crazy intersection, so to give some
You're saying here.
context, we've had several meetings on the Maple Street crosswalk, and I just, in my opinion, this is the same sort of visual cue issue that's going on there. Maybe to a little lesser extent, but you have a high volume of issues.
Can I ask a question? What's on the sign on the other side? On the right side, there's the sign on the pole, what's on the other?
Same as the one on
same
the
as the
other.
one, it's basically.
Yeah, it's like,
It's the same one, it's mirrored on both sides.
It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
we don't have,
Can
they
we-
should be right the same.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because I think it's almost like, the problem is the placement of both of those sets of signs blocks the visibility of
Yes.
That's.
And it's
So-
almost too late, I hate to say, but like,
Yeah,
by the time they see the yield sign, they can't yield it.
yeah,
They can't
it's a-
really slow down.
I agree.
I mean, I
When we
think-
talk about I think the question is in terms of short-term fixes. Because the visibility is a big problem for drivers, driving behavior aside, which is we know it's a massive problem.
Yeah.
But if the signs can be in a different place, at least they're not actually physically blocking visibility to someone who's trying to cross, because it's a problem. Otherwise, you literally can't cross unless there is no one or someone stops, which I feel
Right.
like is sort of philosophically we have to do in town anyway, but
And that telephone pole, the one that's like diagonally put in,
Yeah.
blocks everyone.
And by the way, that puddle is like perpetually there.
Yeah.
Like, I literally have to jump with a stroller. I have to like wear rain boots on a sunny day because I have to run through that in the puddle.
I never crossed here, because when I used to take commuter rail, I used to go walk
Oh,
down and take
yeah.
one little, at that point, it was a little less
we
dangerous.
both live
Yeah, we both live
right
in,
on
yeah.
the.
Oh,
that
really?
side.
Okay.
so I think Ed's done,
Yeah, what do you-
traffic, selective enforcement there, I don't know if you have thoughts on what you're saying.
So I'm Officer Paedes, I'm the traffic officer for NEO, just in case anybody doesn't know me. I think a big part, so I've done a lot, where I'll sit over here just with the motorcycle, it's a good safe spot for me and I can see everything. My personal opinion, it's visibility, you said it, if you're coming this way, so in theory, you have to come off the ramp, which is this box in the middle, right? These cars aren't gonna see you till here, so you're already out in the street, you said to get past that pole.
Yeah.
The issue is if you're over, just- it's line of sight, it's too much traffic. This, like you said, this does stay, sometimes they fight 2 lanes up to Hoyden.
Mhm.
Sometimes they fight 2 lanes up to Linden.
Yep.
Sometimes they
Oh,
don't yield
yeah.
in until here, when it shrinks a little, they physically have to,
Yeah.
but, this, just this, coming this direction could be, it's kind of, northwest. There's too much going on to see that right side. I mean, I don't know that there's an easy fix. This side's a little better with this,
Yeah.
this last like 30, 40 feet or whatever
Right.
is a no parking. Coming into the center. So it's a lot going on. Post office, Linden, the school, the church, the daycare, the pedestrians, the center of town, the Hoyden, 2 lanes into 1. Coming off a 35 to a 25, coming in the other way, it's a lot.
And there's
going on.
that new apartment building that's gonna open right next to the church, so there's
Yeah, the
gonna
old
be even
daycare,
more
yeah.
pedestrians.
And this
But
is,
that's only just, it's only like 6 units, so yes, but it's not
Oh.
massive.
so this is a
Yeah,
question for
six.
Bob and for Rain, just in a temporary.
Yes.
Is possible to move shift the crosswalk across the street so that it originates at the post office intersection where there's a curb cut there. It would then turn across, is that a driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Mhm.
drive, well, yeah,
Driveway.
Mhm.
All right, never mind, I was,
It was a driveway. The post office, when they reconstructed, should have cleaned that up.
Yeah, could it go this way? I mean,
Well, that's what I
it
meant.
already goes
It doesn't
diagonally.
go
to it.
anywhere.
yeah. I
It's
meant,
the old
old
right where the
driveway.
sign is.
I meant this, because yes, you're right, that's just sidewalk they never did, but
Yeah.
is this wide? Can we do here across?
I think it's directly to a driveway.
But if that's
that's a
a
driveway there. Yeah, that's a driveway there, though.
But can it go, can it go,
It looks like it might,
We
can it come from the post office to Washburn?
Oh, diagonal?
So diagonal.
Well, I think the issue is still, that's the side that's the issue of the
Right,
limited
it's
site.
still right.
visibility.
Yeah, that corner's the tricky part, yeah.
And if you, my understanding is you can term it mid-block if it originates at an intersection on the other side. So essentially, you're moving it, and it looks like from here, it actually might be fine. And obviously, this is something that we want to do a site survey and figure out and design and see. If just by moving it to the other side of Linden, you're going to then, and then with appropriate signage and with appropriate, warning signage and all that stuff, it'll be a mid-block, so it'll qualify for the warning, crossing ahead. We do the little triangles as well, on the painted triangle markings on the ground and, but I mean, that's more of the midterm, if you will. But a short term might be just a lighted, like the blinking lighted signs, but
Yeah, the LED blinking signs, right.
My only hesitation on that
Yeah.
location is you get people shooting out of the post office driveway to
Right.
try and make it right. So now they're looking left, going right.
no, you're,
Yeah,
yes, and then then you have to install the, yield to pedestrians when taking right signs. You're right, that's too dangerous.
It's an old photo.
That's an old
Yeah,
photo.
that's an old photo without the, right.
Yeah,
No, but you're right, moving that, I'm just trying to think creatively here.
the post office configuration doesn't help.
What's that?
It said it wasn't like it.
No, I think it's a very valid point about that.
I wonder, is it possible, so on this, just this, side, so I'm wondering if the orange thingies are
Yeah.
possible, the orange barricades, if those could be
Jersey
used without blocking visibility to the Washburn crosswalk,
Meaning, or just one of them, I don't think you need two, because just one of
just
them
on
right here,
that side, right?
just right here,
Just
because what you wanna
because you
do,
need to protect the pedestrian until they can get out to
Yeah.
Did
the
that
point.
affect the left turning radius, right?
No, it's fine.
No.
because essentially, I think if you were
Left is
to,
good, 'cause
if you're looking at like a longer term engineering and forget the like downtown project, if you wanted to redesign, you would do a bulb out here. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
so, like,
Right, yeah,
that's, maybe that's in the cards for the downtown, whatever it is, but until then, I think people are used to, if we brought the Jersey barrier right here, only one of them, because that side's fine. It would allow a pedestrian to come here and be an area of safe refuge
And you
here.
can put the sign on it.
and be seen and have a sign, so you don't even have to
Right.
deal with the, yeah, exactly, and then I think that's a short-term fix.
that's a quick,
Exactly, so,
I think we're,
Minimize the people
Yeah.
trying to sneak around.
Yeah.
I
at
think
least
Rebecca's
that.
point too, we removed that sign, like flip it around. So it's now not a visibility issue.
Right.
Yeah, all those
Yes.
signs go away, go onto the orange barricade.
Right.
Right.
That improves visibility past the pole. That's a very quick fix for us, if that makes sense.
On Washburn.
I think we should do warning signage ahead as well on both sides, you know what I mean, like warning.
Crosswalk
And then-
ahead, crosswalk ahead.
So technically, that is correct, Officer Riley, that this is 25, even though the 35 is, because the speed is still supposed to be 25 there, correct? Ideally,
Coming at us at this view,
yes, at that point, like, is the speed allowable to be changed when you see the sign, or you bisect the plane of the?
so
speed?
coming at us in this field of view, so towards Wellesley,
Signage.
25 when you enter the square.
Oh, 34.
There's a 25 here,
Yeah, going,
right?
correct.
But if you come in Great Plain Ave this
Oh,
way,
there is
Yeah.
nothing, yes.
Really?
I think we should probably put,
technically it's an unposted 30 business district.
yeah,
That should be 25.
well, you
Well, I
have to
think-
do it, yeah.
I think the next block over this way, right, is 30, it said 35.
After Washburn, it's posted 35 heading towards
So
Wellesley.
maybe people are actually seeing it from afar.
I'm sure
like, oh, yeah.
they're coming out of the center, they're seeing the 35, and
Yeah,
they're like, okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's on 35 until the 25.
can we
after
move the
Central.
35 further?
We could move the
towards
35,
Wellesley?
yeah. I have no problem with that.
Maybe that'll at least take that away from them
That's a
seeing.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we'll work on whether, because there is some traction to see whether we would chapter 71, surgical 71 implementation, which is to bring the statutory speed limit down to 25, not townwide, but maybe street by street. This is a nightmare signage process that would have to be done for that, but,
yeah, no poisons. For those.
yeah, so that's all, 30, yeah, those are, but no, I mean, I think moving on speeds, so how about this? I'd like to make a motion that we put the Jersey barrier similar to what is on the Camellas, the Maple Street crossing, on that one side here. We add the signage onto Jersey barrier. We move the regulatory speed sign a couple hundred feet away toward, down central. 100 feet, whatever is acceptable. And we do, warning crosswalk ahead signage on both approaches.
And change these.
By the time they remove all that, they're gonna be.
We're moving the signs then would go onto Jersey barrier. Correct.
Yeah, those signs go away off the pole.
Whether they're lighted or not, it doesn't matter to me whether we use those, because I don't know if we still have those. As a quick buy. But I think that is an appropriate motion. I know that we have a remote, something to write all the motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have that seconded. Is there discussion on that motion on the table? Anything else?
No, I think we're just gonna have to see once that sign goes, we just need to make sure it's enough sign, enough. There's enough pointing to it once it's on the Jersey barrier on this side. I mean, I think, I agree, this
We'll
one
assess.
this one isn't doing anything, so.
Yes, we'll assess, but I think if so, as any other discussion points on the motion on the table?
Just as a point of reference, when the town reconstructs in the future, I'm an advocate of not in business zones. Those are called apex ramps.
Very nearly.
So it's, I'm more in favor of ramp shifting to shorten the distance and improve visibility, bump out or not, especially if there's parking. So when people do go, we always look at wheelchairs or people in baby strollers.
Yes.
You can't see.
You can't see
And
that.
then they have to go into the road if somebody's taking the right, it's a bad day as well, so. In the future, these will be cleaned up, but short term, this sounds like a great, quick step.
So, any other discussion? No other discussion, then we go to a vote. All in favor of that motion, as I said before? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? Perfect, motion passes. All right, so there'll be some work, it won't all be instantaneous, but it'll be, hopefully that will improve some things, yeah.
You can let us know.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
It's a process, nothing's perfect, but it's a process, so
Yeah.
it's to try to adjust small things even, to see if they affect
Anything
change.
is better than nothing.
no, it's an issue, and it's just, Yeah. I
They
agree.
come in
Really
out of there.
appreciate it.
They
Thank
coming
you
out of
so
that
much.
post office.
Yeah.
Feedback
That's what
is
it's-
always. good.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I don't, did you get any other notes or anybody from, anybody who, so no other person came. Let's, I'll speak with you offline about contacting these people and seeing, so these longstanding ones.
I think we should tell them we're
How
going.
many didn't come?
So I will say that
1, 2, 3, 4.
Caitlin Segrist and Denise Seidman
Brown Street?
both asked yesterday if they could come to a meeting later this year.
Okay.
But I think Heather Finnegan, I just don't, I don't think.
Why don't we
she's
drop
able
that?
To make it.
Because that's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 3 meetings. She was traveling, but she reached out to me saying that, oh, I've been traveling, sorry. And then I said, oh, okay, so can you come to the next meeting, no problem? And then our communication dropped off after
Sure.
that,
So, yeah, we'll officially drop that and she's welcome to resend it.
And I think with Ms. Annenberg, I think it was a matter of
I know,
short notice or.
Yep.
I don't know. I tried to confirm with her that we could do her petition first.
Mhm.
But I think maybe without that being for sure, far in advance, I think maybe she wasn't able to.
Okay. all right. Any, yes,
Should we go ahead and put the triangles as well?
yeah, let's do that, yes.
Actually, had a question for Bob. I brought up a good point. Bob,
Yes, yes.
are you putting out the tubes? Because we will not do selective enforcement on High Rock during those times.
It will probably be next week, now that I know that the lines are securely narrowed. Lanes are securely narrowed on High Rock and Oak, probably at the same time. I'll probably do both of them.
We'll limit our visibility for that week then.
Yeah,
they
just
were-
that 1 week, just a week, that's it, and then.
Perfect. Two things. One, I know Rebecca wanted to bring up something with regards to just, philosophically, what are we doing about calming the lines? And something that did come up. This obviously was presented to the board for our project on pilot. I went and actually presented with Karis. It wasn't on the agenda for approval. It was just on the agenda for notification. They all endorsed it and great and wonderful for bike lanes. The one thing that we essentially did from High Rock to the railroad bridge, where those are bike lanes, we just did a parking prohibition all the way along that route because you cannot park in a bike lane in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Technically, is that a correct?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think you got a ticket for it. I mean, I think it was like 2 years ago they said law. So I don't know if we can do that because that's a parking prohibition, technically a regulation change. So I emailed Karis, I think you were on it. I said, I don't care either way because the bike lanes came up as, that wasn't part of our pilot, but they came in as, let's say, well, if it's going to be, we're going to do it, we might as well do the bike lanes. I just want to make sure that we don't end up in a situation where we inadvertently did that. Now, Karis also said that we did bike lanes in other areas throughout town without having to go to the railroad for a parking regulation change. So as long as you guys are fine with that, I'm fine. But I just wanted to bring that up as a potential. Is DPW overstepping their bounds by putting in a bike lane without having to go through a bylaw change? A bylaw regulation change of this, which is much
Not enforce,
of what?
to not enforce.
No, meaning establishment of bike lanes is an establishment of a no parking zone, because there's no other place to park.
Technically, yes.
What makes it a bike lane? Do you have to indicate it's a bike lane?
So Rain was gonna say, yes, we were gonna put the bike lanes.
Well, what we decided to do is not mark it, because it's also disjointed. Eventually, some of the executive committee wants to have share the road and bike lanes from Rail Trail to downtown, down Chestnut. And that's one of the avenues we look at. But when we restriped the surface treatment from Chestnut to the railroad bridge, those are 12-foot lanes. It's not 5 feet for bike lanes. So it's disjointed. So our recommendation is not to mark it. and it's just a shoulder. So it could be safer because it's wider for bike lanes, but just to let it stay as is.
Yep, that's okay.
And we put it on hold so we could have further discussion. Then it comes down to bring it up.
Perfect, okay.
So my request with that, though, is that because, so I think there was some discussion on the community page, Facebook page, about whether, if before, because there was no shoulder, people were parking very often on High Rock. But now with a wider shoulder, without bike lanes, does it invite more parking on that street? And if you are biking because you think it's a bike lane, are you then at risk of having like parked cars and doors being opened and then adding an additional safety measure because the street, the lanes are, the driving lanes are narrower? So because the driving lanes are narrower, people are going to have to go around you and go into the oncoming lane, but I don't know whether that's an issue. I mean, that happens in single lane roads anyway, bike lane or not. I mean, South Street is certainly a, game of chicken into oncoming traffic. What? Wait, Cyrus?
Yeah, there's activity.
Oh, there's activity. No. Just looks like you're listening to radio.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, but
I believe you.
Dual
can
duty.
multitask. I get it. So that's the question is it, first of all, is that a valid concern? Second of all, is it something that we can watch and in some way measure and track so that if people express concern, we have the data to suggest whether it is in fact a valid concern or whether it's actually a non-issue?
So I would default back to, all that is possible. We don't know, we can't prove a negative. It's gonna be really hard to measure. Require observation, but the center line is in the center, according to engineering Marco. So if people were parked on the shoulder somewhere, whatever effect would still happen to the center line. Somebody's parked, not just because it's a bike lane. Now, people may want to park more on the edge of the road because they think they have more space. I don't know if it kind of makes sense, but I don't know. But if the car is parked, regardless of how wide the lanes are and how wide the shoulder lane is, if the car has to go by on the yellow, that's what they're gonna do. Imagine.
yeah,
To get
I
by.
mean, I drove through there and I felt like the lanes weren't, like the inside the fog line to the berm wasn't wide enough to fit a car. So I feel like it actually prevented the thought of parking there because now you're straddling the fog line, so you actually look like you're in the travel lane. Also, I'm
I
trying to.
kind of got that impression too, John. And I drove down there.
Control as much as I used to be, but I never remember cars being parked, at least from, I used to sit like by the town forest, because that's where people typically sit. I don't ever recall cars being parked on the opposite side of the town forest.
Right.
I don't think people just park there, and I wasn't really looking for it, but I know people parked, they just park on the grass on the
Town forest side.
forest side, so I would assume they'd still continue to do so.
So the only thing that I would suggest, given that Karis had said we're putting in bike lanes, the select board said, oh, great. And then the Medium Observer, a newspaper, picked that up and sent that out.
That's where that came from.
Yes.
I-
So DPW now is on record of saying we're gonna do bike lanes. Now, I think there might need to have a PIO, you know what I mean? The PIO
Yeah,
should be involved.
I think, because we're on the record, but my thought is, we're at the end of the paint season. I don't even know if I can get them back.
Got it,
into
okay.
Detail. What's happening in the industry, there's only two companies that bids on municipal contracts around here. They're similar to a lot of industries where they're having difficulty hiring qualified staff. Our work orders, we have penalties, is complete work order in 30 days, it's more like 60 or 70.
Got it, okay.
And that's either company, all towns are doing it. So instead of enforcing the fine, they're acting in good faith. I don't want to penalize the company so they don't bid next time and get a
No, I
spike
get it,
and we don't get a company. So realistically, if if I call them now, we're not gonna get it till next spring.
Right.
So we can have more conversation on that.
Did you, Rebecca, do you have any?
Well, so it seems like it's just worth watching, is the last thing on that. So then the second piece of that, which I think you sort of started to mention, is that there is not continuity of striping. So one of the things that I think also caused angst in the town,
Mhm.
probably, was that the side striping and the center striping were not done at the same time. And so I think there's a lot of unrest over a road seeming very small, even without the center line, and causing confusion with oncoming traffic. So there are two pieces to this. One is it possible for us, possibly as a community, when DPW stripes, is to do the whole thing? Or to do the center first and then do the shoulder?
We were supposed to do the second first,
Okay.
and it got canceled. And then a different vehicle came in to the edge line. So that's unusual. We
Okay.
always want to do the center first
Okay.
or at the same time.
Okay,
So that gave us a little bit of anxiety.
okay, great.
So on other roads, it's wherever we surface street, we have an opportunity to clean slate to restripe. And so we'll never have Central Ave from end to end, for example. So as we went down Central Ave from Great Plain, once you get past Honeywell, it goes from 12 feet to 11 feet.
Mhm.
I was actually advocating for 10 feet, which is on West Street. It's very comfortable in my opinion. Actually pull the curve any tighter. But so that happens on all segments we do. The thing we could do to get the lanes the same width is actually double stripe it like we did on Greendale, from such a wide street. And then we could take 9-foot lane from Chestnut, for example, where there's a natural break, and go up to the bridge, but that would have to be in the spring. We're not gonna get them back this year. And that would have a 9-foot lane continuously and a double lane down to the bridge.
Is it like a wider, a yellow, right? Like
Yeah.
The white
oh, the edge
lanes,
line.
so we could do that. We did that on Greendale just because it's so wide.
Yeah.
If we striped it for a 10 or 11 or 12 foot, either way, the edge would be 6 or 7 feet.
Yeah.
So we would double stripe.
So you're saying you're gonna do that on, so that was my next thing, was on
Well,
High
we-
Rock.
we could.
The old part of High Rock that wasn't newly striped, because it's weird when you're going down. I think that's part of it is too, so again, public perception and visibility, is you're on the newly striped side and it seems really narrow, and then you go to the old and it feels vast.
Yes.
So if as you're driving down the road, it gives the perception of this, going from tiny to wide, and people panicking and thinking that the roads are too narrow.
Yeah.
So this,
So, yeah, so that's what we could do, and I would suggest if the committee decides to recommend it, it would just be from Chestnut, because there's a
Yes.
break there.
yes,
Yeah.
'Cause
yes,
the other one, there's no break.
yeah, so from Chestnut over the bridge,
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay, so lots of the look to watch for and look over the winter, as we kind of see if we can fix that and fix the bike stuff. We'll figure out.
But
So
as-
that can't be done until after the winter too.
if we put it on order now, we won't see the company. We have some small handwork left to do, that'll probably be done by end of October, if the season's closing out.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have anything they wanted to bring up? Not, I will entertain.
I just want to say, probably sitting on this committee for the last couple years, more than 3, it's been a real pleasure. That all the volunteers, what we see, what we can do, actually take small bites and steps is terrific. Usually when I'm involved in DPW, is major projects, they take forever to get into the queue. And then it's a huge change typically because we want to modernize and update the transportation system. And it's very different from what it was decades ago. Of course, wide roads, crazy roads, but oriented. And every time we do those projects, there's anxiety with different groups. We have opposing groups making different arguments. It'll never be 100%, but I think this committee has done a great job finding a balance and getting safety issues addressed in a timely manner within our budget. Sure. Which unfortunately, if the budget goes up, we can do more.
Yeah, and I think that's, I know that the first Springtown meeting, I'm actually advocating that. I've had some conversations to increase the budget for TSC next year.
Randy, you saying? this is your
I know,
last
where are you
meeting?
going?
Yeah, you said you're gonna give me till December.
You have to worry there for a
Yeah,
second.
You've been saying that for a while, so I think you should just plan to stick
And
around.
then
We could go to the house.
And then we did say, I've been working with Rain to get, we spec'd and quoted, some radar speed signs that would be portable, that are battery usage, that we could attach to various locations throughout town, and be able to move them from location to location, that I think would benefit the town to be able to, it wouldn't be affixed, because we're talking about the 25-mile-an-hour sign down by Central, 25 there, anymore. It's been there for 9 years. So by having an ability to move some. So I think we were able to have some extra money to acquire those along with some spare batteries so that we can come up with a rotate them. And then also, if, somebody says that, whatever road is to access, we can put that up. And also has, it also gains the intent,
And they do all.
it logs it too, right? So yeah, it's actually a way of doing a speed study, is it tracks everything that, comes in, so we do have that data too. So yeah, I just wanted to give an update on that. I think we'll
Yeah, I
move forward
I
wherever we
really
can.
appreciate the specs, so I started digging into it.
Mhm.
And so the company recommends that I talk to them stealth mode, so you hook it up, it does the counts and
Mhm.
speeds, it records it on the computer, without any visual.
Hmm.
So it's called stealth, and then you turn it on, and you can get the data instantly for next week, on now that people are flashing, to see what effect it has in quick time, which is really amazing. It's like that,
I
is
like it.
smart.
Yeah.
And it does all, they do things that we can be flexible, super easy to move from pole to pole,
Awesome.
and we don't have to strap them on telephone. So we can use our
Right.
town sign, you put it right under where it's,
There's different brackets. Yeah.
yeah, so it's super easy. And there's no tools, it comes with a little key,
Nice.
it's fast.
Cool. So yeah, so I think that will give it another toolbox, another tool for our toolbox for as we go into the winter next year. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Stay for a while.
You're gonna stay for a while. All right. Someone, one of you two seconds. All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for how you
Okay.
doing this?
Yep, no problem. Thank you.